On January 12, 1991, at exactly 5:30 a.m., the silence of a luxury estate in Medellin was shattered. The sound of heavy boots hit the marble floors. Dozens of elite police officers and DEA agents stormed the property. They expected a gunfight. They expected the patron himself. But when they reached the master bedroom, the bed was cold. The man was gone. The agents searched every room. They tore down curtains. They ripped up floorboards. For 6 hours, they found nothing but expensive furniture and empty champagne bottles. It looked like a total failure. Then, one young agent stepped outside to the massive Olympic-sized swimming pool. The water was crystal clear. It looked perfect, but as the sun hit the bottom of the pool at a specific angle, he noticed something strange. A small, dark line was visible on the blue tiles. It wasn't a crack, it was a seal. He called for the heavy equipment. He knew that in this world, nothing is ever what it seems. But this didn't start here. To understand why a billionaire would build a secret fortress under his own pool, you have to understand the level of paranoia that ruled the Medellin cartel. By the early 90s, Pablo Escobar was the most hunted man on the planet. The U.S. government had sent their best agents. The Colombian police had formed a special unit called the Search Block. Pablo's world was shrinking. He couldn't trust his friends, he couldn't trust his guards, and he certainly couldn't trust the banks. Pablo was making so much money that it became a physical problem. He had mountains of cash that needed a home. He started building Caletas. These were sophisticated hiding spots built into the very fabric of his properties. He hired the best engineers in the country. He paid them millions to design rooms that could not be seen by radar. He wanted spaces that could hide his money, his weapons, and his own family. But he had a rule. Once a secret room was finished, the workers who built it often disappeared. Pablo believed that a secret is only safe if only one person knows it. The engineers grew clever. They started building rooms in places no one would think to look, under kitchens, behind false chimneys, and, in this case, directly under tons of water.
But that was only the beginning. Before we go deeper, make sure you're subscribed. We post stories like this every single day. Back at the pool, the agents were working fast. They brought in industrial pumps. They drained thousands of gallons of water. It took hours. The sun was beating down on them. As the water level dropped, the mystery grew. The bottom of the pool looked solid. It looked like a normal, expensive pool. Some agents started to laugh. They thought they were wasting their time. But the young agent who found the line didn't stop. He walked on to the wet tiles. He started tapping. Near the deep end, the sound changed. It went from a dull thud to a hollow ring. He found a small hidden lever disguised as a pool light. He pulled it. What happened next shocked everyone. A massive section of the pool floor didn't just move, it hissed. Hydraulic pistons, powered by a hidden engine, began to lift a 3-ton slab of concrete and tile. It moved slowly, like the door to a bank vault. Beneath the pool, a dark staircase appeared. The air that came out of the hole smelled of oil, old paper, and cold sweat. The agents pulled out their flashlights. They drew their weapons. They expected an ambush. They expected a small room. What they found instead was a high-tech bunker. It was a full living space. It had air filtration. It had satellite phones. It had enough food to last for months. It was a palace built for a ghost. But he had no idea what was coming. As the agents moved deeper into the bunker, they found the real prize. The walls weren't made of concrete, they were made of steel lockers. One agent pried open the first locker. His jaw dropped. It was filled to the ceiling with shrink-wrapped bricks of $100 bills. He opened the second, more cash. He opened the third, gold bars. It was a Caleta worth over $200 million. But there was something else in the room, something that made the agent's blood run cold. In the corner of the bunker, there was a small desk. On that desk sat a list of names. It wasn't a list of enemies, it was a list of government officials, police officers, and judges. Next to each name was a number. It was a payroll. Pablo wasn't just hiding his money, he was using it to own the very people who were supposed to be hunting him. The DEA realized that the war was much deeper than they thought. They weren't just fighting a drug dealer, they were fighting a system. The pressure inside the bunker was intense. The agents realized that if Pablo had been there just an hour earlier, he would have watched them on the hidden security cameras. He would have seen them coming from miles away.
They felt watched. They realized that even in his absence, Pablo's power was everywhere. He knew this could destroy everything. The list of names was the most dangerous thing in the room. It was proof that the cartel had reached the highest levels of power. But there was no way back now. The DEA began to process the evidence. It took days to move the cash. They had to use armored trucks and military escorts. They knew that the cartel would do anything to get that money back. The discovery of the pool bunker changed the hunt forever. It taught the DEA that Pablo wasn't just a criminal, he was an architect of shadows. What happened next was a game of cat and mouse. The agents started checking every pool in Medellin. They started looking for hydraulic seals. They started listening for hollow sounds in the walls of every mansion. But Pablo was always one step ahead. He realized that the Caletas were being found. He started moving his money into the jungle. He started burying it in the dirt, as we discussed in previous stories. The pool bunker became a legend. It showed the world the incredible ego of the man. He wanted to swim above his fortune. He wanted to feel the weight of his wealth while he relaxed in the sun. But the closure finally came. The estate was eventually seized by the government. The pool was filled with dirt. The bunker was stripped of its steel and its secrets. Today it is a ruin, a pile of broken tiles and rusted pistons. The money was gone. The list of names led to dozens of arrests. The system of plata o plomo began to crack. The DEA realized that you can hide money in the walls and you can hide yourself under a pool, but you can never hide from time. The discovery of that one secret room led to the downfall of dozens of others. In the end, the secret Caleta wasn't a shield, it was a map. It showed the authorities exactly how Pablo thought. It showed them his fears. He was a man who had everything, but he had to live in a hole in the ground to keep it. He was the richest man in the world, and he couldn't even enjoy his own swimming pool without wondering if someone was tapping on the tiles. The long-term consequence was a total change in how the government searches for cartel assets. They developed new sensors. They trained dogs to smell the ink of the money through concrete. The age of the Caleta was ending. Pablo Escobar died on a rooftop, far away from his luxury pools and his secret bunkers. He died with nothing in his pockets. The hundreds of millions hidden under the water couldn't save him. The story of the pool bunker reminds us that greed creates a prison. Pablo spent millions to build a hole to hide in. He spent his life making sure no one could find him, and in the end, he was the most famous man in the world. The fortune was a burden. The secrets were a trap. In the end, power always comes with a price. Some choices can never be undone. If you liked this video, make sure you subscribe and follow the channel. We upload new videos every single day. And trust me, the next story is even more intense, more surprising, and something you definitely don't want to miss. I'll see you in the next one.